Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Argo Sports Insider. Each time here on the program, we like to take some time to highlight the things going on here at the University of West Florida in the athletics program and shine the light on our coaches. Coach Jeff Burkhamer of the men's basketball team is here, and our student athletes as well. Coach, good to see you again. It's been a little while.
It has.
And finally, you guys are back in full force as a whole team on the court. But I got to ask you first, this journey that we've been on for the last 8 months, 9 months or so, what's it been like for you as a coach who's been doing this a long time?
It's been a lot different. It's been hard because you can't give guys answers, and just it's day to day. You just figure out what you're going to do the next day, and the next day may be different. So you talk to your team about that. It's being able to make adjustments, and every day may be different from what we did the day before. So those guys get frustrated at times with that, and at times, and you just got to continue to move forward and tell them, hey, everybody's dealing with this. We'll do the best we can.
Coach, I know we think back several months ago and when everybody went home in the spring semester, after spring break, and it was hard to keep everybody maybe connected in some ways, and the struggle for coaches across different sports. How'd you guys pull that off?
Well, you had to recruit your guys, throughout the spring, through Zoom and through telephone calls, and then that's how you had to recruit. Nobody visited campus at all during the spring or in the summer, so we recruited all guys off of video and off Zoom calls, and I feel like we did a pretty good job bringing the right guys in.
I know the current players that you had as they went home, how do you kind of monitor, or did you monitor what they were doing, how they were working? Now you just kind of have to rely on them to do it?
Yeah, we divided up between the coaches, guys to call each week. So each of us had 3 or 4 guys that we would call, check on their grades, check on how they were doing, just kind of get an update on workouts. There's different things that were happening with them, but that was a little bit challenging, and I think it was challenging for players.
Now, there's a good chance that basketball, men's and women's, is going to be the first thing to get back in and actually play here for us at the University of West Florida in the Division II level in some ways. The cross country is going, I know, in some other areas. What do you guys know at this point? I know there's still some uncertainty about when you might start.
Yeah, a lot of discussion still about it. We're hoping to actually start playing games in December, play 2 or 3 or 4 games before Christmas, and then play the rest of our schedule after. We're looking at probably a 20-game conference schedule. They're talking about a lot of back-to-backs, either Friday, Saturday or Saturday, Sunday schedules. At the same place against the same opponent. We would be on the road and the girls would be at home and vice versa. So it's a little different type of schedule, and we're just kind of waiting for them to make a decision on which way they're going to go. We've had a couple different discussions, and now it's up to the ADs and the presidents to make the final decision.
Yeah, really uncharted territory
Yes.
here that we kind of get into some of that. Let's talk about the guys that you do have coming back first, your returners and kind of who you're expecting big things from.
Well, we've got really good returners, guys that played a lot of minutes last year. Cameron Cox had a terrific year as a junior, really came into his own, handled the ball well, didn't turn it over, and really had a good year playing our point guard spot. Brett Carter's back at a 2-guard spot. He had a couple games, he scored 18, 20 points in. Good shooter, good 3-point shooter. Daniel Sofield as a freshman started every game for us last year. He's gotten better, had a really good summer. I thought he worked very hard on putting the ball on the floor, getting to the basket a little bit more, using his size. Connor Flanagan is back, and Connor has finally overcome those injuries, and you can tell he's back to being the player we thought he was going to be. Really good shooter, a little bit more athletic this year than he was. And then Tariq McKelvin has got to be one of the best athletes in the league. Had a great second half last year, and plan on him building on that, being one of our go-to guys.
Still trying to find that trampoline he's hiding to get off the floor. Talk about some of the guys that you're bringing in, though. As we talked about bringing in some new players to play this new style, and I know these are, in many cases, guys who have experience at the junior college level and elsewhere.
We really had a combination this year of 4 or 5 JUCO kids and 3 freshmen. Like our young kids, I think the freshmen have a chance to play right away. Kendall Bynum is a little point guard that played in a very, very good program with very good players, understands the game, true point guard, knows how to pass and get the ball to other guys. Tate Malky, terrific shooter, just a terrific shooter. He's one of those guys that he shoots it, you think it's going in every time he shoots it. And he's a kid I've had in camp from when he was about a 6th or 7th grader, and have known him, a kid out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and just knowing him and his dad, and I think he's got a chance to have a terrific career. And then we got a West Virginia kid, back from close to where I'm from, Michael Mombe, 6'7" post player that I think this year you'll see him play some, and you'll see him get better and better as his time goes. And then you add in the junior college kids. A couple of those guys are definitely impact guys. They're going to step in and play right away. But good combination of freshmen, JUCO kids, and returners.
And as Coach mentioned, going to need all those bodies because this is going to be something like we've never seen before.
Right.
Not just the way you play, but the way things shake down this season. And we're hoping before too long see you back here on this court and hopefully get some people in these stands safely and as we kind of move forward. Coach, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. We look forward to hearing the band, even if they can't be here. I understand they may record some stuff and get some noise in here and play some basketball. Coming up next year on the program, we'll check in on women's basketball with Coach Stephanie Yelton right here on Argo Sports Insider.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
Your View commemorates the best season in West Florida Argonaut football history with replays of the 2019 playoff run and a special watch-along viewing of the Division II National Championship game hosted by Will Kennedy and featuring in-game commentary from head coach Pete Shinnick, linebacker Andre Duncombe Jr., and wide receiver Quentin Randolph. Tune in and relive the best season in UWF program history.
What does Argo Spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
This portion of Argo Sports Insider is brought to you by Penn Air Federal Credit Union, Jenny King, Hill Kelly Dodge, High Point Hotel Group, and the Florida Lottery.
Welcome back in, everybody, to Argo Sports Insider. We're sticking with basketball here in the field house at the University of West Florida. We got Stephanie Yelton, the women's basketball coach here at UWF. Of course, we are masked up because we were inside, and Coach, we were just talking with Coach Burkhamer, men's basketball, in the previous segment about how unusual all this has been and how you guys are having to work through things like wearing masks, getting back everybody onto the practice court together, doing things safely, testing, all those kind of things. How difficult has it been as a head coach to kind of go through something that you've never done before?
It's been a huge adjustment. Not only personally, wearing a mask in practice is not ideal. You have players that are not necessarily understanding what you're saying because it's muffled, because of the mask or because of other noise in the gym. It was very challenging at the beginning of the school year to only have, one player with a ball at a basket, and then gradually moving into more of an intense workout with our players and more players being involved in the gym as it became safer to do that on our campus. But it's just been a very odd off season. But in some ways it's been good. We've actually been able to do some individual workouts that maybe we wouldn't have done in prior years just because we were forced to do that. And we weren't as concerned or engaged of what the team was looking like. It was more of training the individual during those weeks. And I think that's going to pay off for us.
When your team goes home back in March and everybody kind of has to scatter and then we don't come back, in the spring semester, we ask all the coaches this, did you do anything kind of, how did you stay connected with them? Is there anything kind of out of the ordinary that you had to go through to try to keep everybody on the same page? Yeah,
normally in the summer we don't see our players anyway, right? Because they're home. The NCAA doesn't allow us to do any workouts with them in the summer. And even the ones that stay in Pensacola are working jobs, taking summer school classes, but they're not necessarily in the gym with us. So we are, a lot hands off in the summer anyway. This summer happened to be a lot different because the players didn't have access to workout facilities. So I think our university has done a tremendous job getting us to where we are today. I think the players are very resilient through the summer and understanding the challenges of coming back after being at home for 6 months. And as a coaching staff, that was one thing that we had talked about continuously, is that when we are able to get our kids back in the gym, it would have been literally 6 months since we had seen them in a workout facility. weeks.
Who do you lean on in your veterans a little bit, to kind of help with this unusual situation?
Danielle Norquist has been amazing. She was our top scorer last year and someone we leaned on last year, and she really started stepping into that role last season for us as a junior. And this year as a senior, she knew that, this was going to be a challenging year and she was going to have to show some leadership with a lot of new players. But I mentioned the two transfers, Gabby Brown and Peyton Lewis, they weren't in our program last year, but they've been there, done that. And they have tremendous voices for the younger players and really kind of leading and showing the way. They've been super vocal, each of them coming from different areas of the country, but they've been great. And then of course we're rounding out with some other returners that physically have really gotten themselves in great condition and great shape to lead by example versus just leading vocally. And so that goes a long way.
Lastly for you mentioned the bubble, for the NBA and other areas, and you guys won't be in a bubble, but the conference is talking about potentially playing back-to-backs and keeping it, Friday, Saturday, that kind of thing to minimize the exposure for everybody, which will be different, I know, from a coaching standpoint as well. What are you hearing about your schedule and kind of how things may play out?
Well, right now we're looking at potentially 20 games in our schedule, which is a lot more than a lot of teams in our conferences in the country are playing. So that's obviously an advantage. I think we can play 20 safely. I think that's a good round number for us. But the back-to-back games are going to be a little bit challenging. We don't know what that looks like. It's not officially released. There are a couple of other schedules kind of floating around that we may play the same opponent on the same weekend, or we could play two separate opponents on the same weekend. So either of those obviously brings its own challenges, but there are also some positives of playing safely, being able to test safely, having your team travel safely, and not exposing them into different areas of the country and in areas where we potentially could get sick.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to having you and your team right back here on the court and out on the road as well. I think the mask thing could work for you because you can maybe say something to the ref and then say, no, you misunderstood me because I was muffled a little bit, right?
Yes,
right?
And I think I can mumble under my breath a little bit more effectively and no one really know what I'm saying. I mean, that could potentially be the...
Hard to tell a player read my lips.
That's
right.
It
doesn't work that way. All right, look forward to it, Coach. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us.
Thank you.
Coming up next year on the program, we're going to get to know some of our student athletes better and have a little fun right here on Argo Sports Insider.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
Change is inclusive.
Change is collaborative. Change is transformative.
Change connects. Who will you connect with?
What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
For those who measure success by the worn tread on their tires, and those who strengthen their body and mind and drift through their weekends over nature's current. Andrews Institute, for those who move.
We've delivered hot, fresh, made-to-order burgers to your table every day since 1950. Now, we're just delivering them a little farther. Right to your front door. Guess you could call them special deliveries. Delivery has arrived at Whataburger. Use our app or order at whataburger.com.
Welcome back into Argo Sports Insider. We are out in the beautiful Florida sunshine, November sunshine. It's actually hot here on Penn Air Field behind the Darrell Gooden Center. Each episode, we like to spend some time with our student athletes and get to know them a little bit better off of the field of play, the court, whatever it may be. This week, we've got two specials for you. Lauren Jonsson from swimming and diving, and Carlos Marrero from men's golf.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a sophomore from Milton, Georgia, and I swim distance freestyle and a little bit of backstroke. The amazing beach, Pensacola Beach, was what really drew me here, but I loved the team and just the round here reminds me of home, and so it was kind of like home away from home, and I just love all the coaching staff and all of the different resources that the university could give us, not only in the pool and out of the pool. I don't know, it's just something about the white sand beaches, and then just you can find where it's busy and then you can find where it's secluded, and I like going to the secluded part just to get away and let my mind just hear the waves and have my feet in the sand. I would say the hardest thing is what you do in the water is one thing, but then what you do out of the water is one of the hardest things too. Like you have to make sure you're eating, you're sleeping. Our practices are very early, so sometimes having a social life is a little difficult. I like to binge watch Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is my favorite show. I've watched it like 3 times now, which is a lot considering there's 16 seasons, but it's by far my favorite. Exercise science. I love being active and movement. I like learning about the body. I think for me, learning something that's like real to myself and I can point out on myself is easier to learn than an equation of some sort or just history fact, because I can apply it not only to myself but to others. I really like Bozzy. My favorite song is Young and Alive. It just it's chill, but then at the same time you kind of can like feel yourself with it. And then another favorite I like is The Killers. It's kind of an old school one, but I really like Mr. Brightside. I feel like everyone can kind of get like jumpy and then get excited with that song. Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. I don't know, I just remember being a kid in the car singing it from the top of my lungs, and every time it comes on, you get in a mood, and I probably could sing every song, every lyric right now. So that one for sure. Does the taco shop near the gas station count?
That'll count.
Oh, okay. I would go to the El Asador, the taco stand, and I would get 3 steak tacos. Soft, of course.
Hey there, my name is Carlos. I'm a junior and I play for West Florida men's golf team. I'm from Venezuela and I came here because I met with coach and we really hit it off, and they were #1 on the nation at that time, and it was I came here to visit and I just loved it, so #1 choice. I would say family, of course, friends, food, yeah, those 3 big things. I would say arepas. I try to make them, but they are not good. Empanadas too. Pabellon here. I don't even know how to do it, and I haven't found any place that do it. I used to play when I was little. I used to play baseball until I was like 10, something like that. I played soccer pretty much all my life until I was 15 and I came here to the States. And I wish I could play tennis. I mean, I like tennis, but I don't know much about it, and I wish I could play it. So for me, when I'm in a tournament, I will listen to rap in Spanish. I love it. It kind of gets me pumped, or it gets me like the right kind of pump. Like not too pumped, I'm not chilling. I'm just like right in the mindset, and that's the thing that I listen when I'm about to play. My major is marketing, and I don't have much plans after graduation. Let's just wait and see to see where the wind takes me. I'm not sure yet. I like to go to the gym a lot. I'll go to the pool, chill. I love the beach when it's not cold out. Right now it's pretty cold. Yeah, just hang out with friends, I guess. I love Panda Express. I love Whataburger for sure. The lo mein and the 3 sides. Big food, yeah. Well, that would be one. And Whataburger, just a burger, I guess, a big burger.
Coming up next here on the program, Maya Clark dives onto the volleyball court with 2 former rivals who are now teammates. That's next on Argo Sports Insider.
What does Argo spirit look like? Is it finding the perfect Argo outfit to show your team pride? Is it giving back while getting your pre-game grub? Or is it connecting with your community in the perfect spot? At Penn Air Federal Credit Union, it's being a proud sponsor of UWF Education, the Alumni Association, athletics, Penn Air Field, and having a spirit of communerosity. Learn more at pennair.org/aboutus.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. It's you, I felt this way before, you know it's true. It's you, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
This portion of Argo Sports Insider is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Baptist Healthcare and the Andrews Institute, Publix, Whataburger, and CPC Office Technologies.
Welcome back to the program here. Volleyball would normally be playing here in the fall, in fact, getting ready for conference tournament time and all that kind of stuff, but instead they'll be moving potentially to the spring for their season. But that doesn't stop us from getting out on the court and finding out a little bit more about Coach Melissa Walters' team. This episode, Maya Clark spends some time with two former high school rivals who are now teammates.
Today we're joined by Kiera Potts and Zadie Engelberger from UWF Volleyball. So we're going to talk about how you guys used to be rivals. In high school, what was like your first impression playing against each other each game?
I'll go first. I always thought Zadie was very mean. I don't know why I had that impression of her. I guess it's just really easy to assume that when you have a rival and when you're playing your rival. So I always thought that Zadie was not a nice person, but come to find out she is.
I don't think it was really on a personal level for me. Like I didn't have anything good, but I didn't have anything bad. So, but yeah, I think it was a lot of like team rivalry. And then we went on to play club, and that was also another team rivalry because we were in the same region. So we both wanted to be the best and be on top.
Okay, so you played at Crestview and you played at Fort Walton. So what was that rivalry like in high school? What were the games like? Was it intense? Was everyone involved?
Yeah, definitely one of the most intense games, whether it was at our house or your house.
Yeah, I think either house it was at, the student section was always packed. Like I remember playing at Crestview and them like just barking and like screaming, and I was just like, okay, like we gotta do this right now.
So when you first found out you guys are both going to be playing together, was there any like anxiety where you're like, oh my gosh, I used to play against her in high school, like, or were you like, okay, we'll be friends, we're teammates now?
I definitely was kind of iffy about it just because of my, like, I assumed that she wasn't going to be a nice person, which is so unfair. I'm sorry I ever did that to you. But yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen. It was going to be very interesting because I knew she was coming from Pensacola State. Mm-hmm. And so I was just kind of like, whoa, okay, another local coming, which I was excited about, another local coming on the team, but I didn't know how we were going to mesh.
What changed where you guys were like, okay, she's actually not who I thought she was, I actually like her?
I think we just realized that we have a lot more in common than we thought we would. We're very similar, I feel like, and very passionate about the game, so that's really easy to get along with.
I think too, for me, playing on the court, I like to have a lot of aggressive people, and maybe not necessarily mean, but somebody that's going to tell you like straight to the point, like you're in a game, you don't have time to chit chat. And I remember one practice, I said something I probably shouldn't have said, and KP was just like, I don't need that right now. And I was like, huh. So she is the player that I like to play with, so that was pretty cool.
So now that you guys have played with each other for some time, what is the thing that you admire most about each other as teammates and as people?
I would definitely say your passion for the game. I admire that a lot. You can see it, like every time you step on the court, you mean business, but like you can tell that every point matters to you. That's what I like most about you. and it fuels other people to play at their best.
Yeah, KP's heart on and off the court, it's not a night and day kind of thing. Like, it's consistent. And she's always got your back, whether you're playing in a 6 rotation or if you're just one-on-one, hanging out, eating dinner like we did last night.
Thank you guys so much for coming and talking to me today. Good luck with the rest of your practices, and we hope to see you guys back on the court soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are looking forward to seeing what Kiera Potts and Zadie Engelberger do when volleyball gets back into action. Coming up next here on the program, we'll check in with Maya again, this time for a little bit more on the lighter side of UWF athletics, right here on Argo Sports Insider.
Real change occurs in that split second, a moment of connection among people.
With a common purpose,
a shared vision,
and a unified goal. What will you change?
What will change you? The University of West Florida. No limits.
For those who measure success by the worn tread on their tires, and those who strengthen their body and mind and drift through their weekends over nature's current. Andrews Institute, for those who move.
Welcome back to Argo Sports Insider. It's time for another edition of The Lighter Side. Today we asked our student athletes what animal they would be if they got the chance to be one. Here's what they had to say. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
Probably a stingray, just because they're like birds of the sea. They're super cool and they're really fast, so in the water especially, which is what I would need for swimming. So
probably a cheetah because they're pretty fast and that's pretty cool.
What sound does a cheetah make?
I do not know. I cannot make a sound of a cheetah.
I would be an eagle because I like, I'm quite independent. I'd like to see the world. I just feel like, quite a scary animal.
A dolphin. They're just pretty free. They have a lot of authority, a lot of power out there in the ocean. They get to come up every now and then. Everyone loves them. I've never seen one, but I would like to be one.
Lions, tigers, bears, oh my. We have the whole animal kingdom here at UWF. Back to you, Will.
Thank you, Maya. We always learn a little something with that segment and always have lots of fun. We thank you for watching this week, and we want to remind you always to check with GoArgos.com for the latest on the University of West Florida Athletics Department, but also to kind of keep an eye on scheduling because that is going to be a moving target. Going to be lots of changing pieces with that as we move forward in this era of COVID. And as always, follow all our teams on social media. You can kind of link to them through Go Argos on the different platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's probably something new that's popped up in the last 15 minutes that I don't know about yet. But we enjoy you being here, and we hope to see you again next time right here on Argo Sports Insider.